Hey everyone, and welcome back to Quasar. You guys absolutely crushed it with the love on our first breakdown video about the talismans, and so many of you begged for a follow-up on the 9 Oni Mask and the Shadowkhan tribes. So get comfortable, hit that subscribe button, and let's jump right into the video. Long before the world was thrown into chaos over Shindu's talismans, humanity faced a much older nightmare. Back in the era of feudal Japan, the land was ruled by Tadakudo, the lord of the Oni and the absolute leader of the Shadowkhan. His reign of terror relied on his 9 powerful demon generals. To crush this tyranny, the ancient Chi wizards pulled their magic together and formed 10 mystical masks. 9 of them were used to trap the spirits of the generals, while the 10th was made specifically for Tadakudo himself. However, Tadakudo managed to outsmart the wizards. To save himself from eternal imprisonment, he stole his own mask and hid it deep within the Shadow Realm, a dark dimension where no human could ever step foot. The remaining 9 masks were scattered across the globe. The wizards knew that if all 9 Oni faces ever ended up in the same room, the sealing spells would break. The generals would be unleashed, and Earth would be plunged into an eternal darkness that will wipe out the world and all good magic. Each of these masks grants its wearer absolute control over one of the 9 unique tribes of the Shadowkhan, but that kind of power comes with a massive price tag. The mask slowly parasitizes the host's mind, bends their will, and ultimately mutates the wearer into the exact Oni demon trapped inside. Centuries later, Shindu discovers one of these masks in China. Having deciphered the artifact's secret, he discovers a way to summon the Shadowkhan without triggering the curse. Instead of putting the mask on, the dragon hides it in his palace and does the summoning through a sealed demon archive engraved with Tadakudo's face. This allowed him to tap into the dark energy without any risk of losing his mind. Shindu's peace goes out the window when Jackie Chan steals the archive. Catching a glimpse of the ancient symbol, Jade mindlessly copies it as a tattoo on her leg, accidentally pulling the mental leak to the Shadowkhan straight to herself. Unlike physically wearing a mask, the ink works differently. It slowly mutates the host from the inside out. Her skin turns a blue shade, her eyes flare with crimson rage, and her attitude gets incredibly aggressive and cruel. At the climax of this mental showdown, Jade orders the shadows to destroy the archive. This breaks the curse on her, but it also permanently cuts off both her and Shindu from ever controlling the Shadowkhan again. Later on, the dark wizard Daolan Wang tries to hijack this power for himself. However, this ritual backfires completely. Instead of bending the shadows to his will, he accidentally awakens the spirit of Tadakudo from his centuries-long slumber. Fleshed back into the real world, he becomes obsessed with his original plan: track down the scattered mask, resurrect his 9 generals, and engulf the planet in darkness. Joining forces with the Dark Hand, Tadakudo kicks off a global artifact hunt, forcing the J-Team into a frantic new race against time with the survival of humanity on the line. The first mask is uncovered right in the ruins of Shindu's destroyed palace. The Mask of Rairaku allows the user to summon the standard ninja-con, the classic ones we've seen since the very beginning of the show. Chao accidentally puts it on, bringing the mask to life and gaining its powers. To get an Oni mask off, you need a potion mixed with a specific mask removal spell, which requires a unique removal ingredient for each general. Toru, being Japanese, reads the lore and discovers that the removal ingredient for this particular mask is Japanese steel. Jade realizes that since the Shadowkhan are Japanese in origin, they use shurikens made of Japanese steel, even though they're currently fighting in Hong Kong. Using a captured shuriken, Uncle brews the potion and Jackie rips the mask right off Chao, stripping him of his powers. The mask is then sent straight to Section 13 for safekeeping. To stay on the villain's trail, the heroes head to Japan, the birthplace of the Oni, where they track down the mask of General Murasaki. During a quick skirmish with Tadakudo's goons, the mask accidentally gets stuck on Ratso, turning him into a vessel for Murasaki's power. This general controls a Shadowkhan tribe known as the Razor Khan. Unlike the previous Shadowkhan, these creatures have sharp metal blades for hands and a single red eye. They are incredibly lethal and can move at blinding speeds. Like any Shadowkhan, they can blend into the shadows and phase through solid surfaces. After escaping Ratso and his minions, Toru reveals that according to Japanese lore, there are mystical Hanafuda cards that can track the mask and reveal the removal ingredients. Snagging the cards from a local factory, the heroes find out that the removal ingredient to lift General Murasaki's mask is Japanese silk. Using this info and a piece of silk, Toru whips up the potion, allowing Jackie to pull the mask off Ratso. Tadakudo's goons retreat and the mask is shipped off to Section 13. The Hanafuda cards point the chance to the next mask. Luckily, it's located right in their hometown, and the removal ingredient is Japanese rice. The mask of General Kido is sitting inside a display at the Natural History Museum. After Jackie nabs it, Hakufu steals it from him, but during a chaotic game of hot potato, Scruffy the dog catches it and ends up wearing it. Yes, this is the exact same dog who got the powers of the dog talisman back in season 3. Once the mask snaps onto him, Scruffy brings it to life, transforming into a demonic hound with the ability to summon the Batcon tribe. This Shadowkhan tribe looks the least human, sporting massive bat-like wings. The Batcon are the only Shadowkhan that can fly and shoot energy blasts from their hands. With a bit of teamwork from Jade, Jackie gets the potion, strips the mask off Scruffy, and the mask goes to section 13. The next one, the Mask of General Midori, is found on a totem pole in the Pacific Northwest. Right as Jackie yanks it off the pole, he gets ambushed by Hakufu, and during the scuffle, the mask accidentally falls onto Captain Black. Since Captain Black is a thoroughly good guy, the Oni's evil takes a lot longer to corrupt him. Eventually, Black unlocks the power to summon the Sumokhan, the biggest, bulkiest ninjas in the Shadow Realm. They're pretty slow, but insanely strong and durable. On Captain Black's orders, they flood Section 13 and take over as the primary workers. Meanwhile, Todo and Uncle head out to harvest the next removal ingredient, Japanese seaweed. By this time, Black falls under the mask's influence. He steals 3 stored Oni masks from the vault and hands them to the enemies to resurrect the other generals. Jade steps in to stop him, using the Tiger Talisman to split Black into his good and evil halves, who immediately throw down. Arriving just in time, Todo and Uncle hand the potion to Good Black, who uses it to rip the mask off Evil Black. Fusing back into one person, Captain Black adds the 4th mask to the Section 13. The 5th mask is fished out of the ocean by a local fisherman. After another skirmish right on the deck of the boat, the mask ends up with Jackie, Todo, and Jade, who head back to Uncle's antique shop. It turns out this mask belonged to General Ikazuki, who was Tadakudo's second in command. In theory, Ikazuki should be one of the few who knows how to destroy Tadakudo for good. To avoid putting anyone at risk, Jade suggests we're bringing the mask to life using the Rat Talisman. However, without telling the heroes anything useful, Ikazuki bites onto Todo's clothes and escapes Section 13. Hitching a ride on random people and cars, the mask ends up latching onto Finn's ass. This shows that the masks don't strictly care where they attach it on the body. Honestly, this setup is actually better for the host, since the mask doesn't corrupt their personality. From that point on, Finn and Ikazuki can summon his tribe of the Shadowkhan, the Samurai Khan, clad in armor. Eyeing Todo as a better host, Ikazuki and his samurai kidnap him along with the potion and drag him into the shadows. Losing Todo forces Uncle to use dark magic to dive into the shadows himself. Successfully rescue Todo, the heroes fight the samurai, and Finn, having finally received the potion, removes Ikazuki from his body, destroying the samurai army. Finn drops the mask and runs off with his crew, and the mask goes to Section 13. The mask of General Odenji is discovered by Jackie embedded in a mountain. Bringing it back to Section 13, Jackie and Jade start prepping for Halloween. Paco, El Todo's student, grabs the Odenji mask to use as a holiday costume and slowly starts mutating into an Oni demon. Tadakudo fills Paco in on the mask's true abilities, prompting Paco to summon his Shadowkhan tribe, the Squid Khan. This is easily one of the creepiest tribes around. These guys have 2 sets of tentacles that they can stretch almost infinitely, a matching long tail, 7 red eyes, and 2 vertical toothy mouths. Under the mask spell, Paco roams around trying to prove to everyone that his costume is the scariest for Halloween. Once Todo and Uncle find out someone actually put the mask on, they start brewing the potion, which requires the removal ingredient of a Japanese octopus's tentacles. Meanwhile in the ring, Paco challenges his mentor El Todo to a match. By wrestling tradition, the winner gets to unmask the loser, but thanks to El Todo's pleading, Paco manages to fight the Oni influence just long enough to rip the mask off his own face and hands it to Section 13. The 8th mask, belonging to General Kudo, is brought at a farm and then put up for grabs at a high-end auction. A bidding war erupts between the main heroes and Tadakudo's goons. Ultimately, Valmont walks away with the mask. During a fight inside Valmont's apartment, the mask shatters cleanly into 2 halves, and Valmont immediately slaps his half onto his face. It turns out this mask allows the user to summon the Crabcon tribe, but there's a catch. Since Valmont only has half a mask, he can literally only summon half-sized, incomplete shadow warriors. It would seem that ripping off Valmont's mask should have been easy, but the potion was accidentally left in the truck. Making a new batch is out of the question because the removal ingredient is the tears of a Japanese monkey, and the monkey is absolutely refusing to cry. Seeing no other choice, Jade puts on the other half of the mask, gaining the power to summon the matching half of the Shadow Warriors, and goes head to head with Valmont. Since both hosts are only wearing half masks, the Oni spirits can't fully hijack their minds. Thanks to this, Jade and Valmont manage to use the recover potion to rip the mask off each other. Having accepted defeat, Valmont gives half of the mask to Jackie. The next mask, belonging to General Mosugurin, is tracked down in Miss Kimber's shack. However, Hackfu stumbles into the shack first. After a quick fight, he manages to swipe the mask, puts it on, and unleashes the most vicious Shadowkhan tribe yet, the Minikhan. These tiny terrors have the ability to devour a person's shadow, which causes them to grow massive and way more dangerous. While the victim falls into a deep sleep, Hackfu scatters his mini ninjas all over the city, where they grow to giant proportions. Meanwhile, Uncle is panicking trying to figure out the removal ingredient. Toru is fast asleep because of the Minikhan, and the Hanafuda card with the name on it was eaten by an alligator. Uncle calls Miss Kimber's shop and asks her for advice, gets the answer, and successfully brews the spell. Dumping the potion onto a blowfish and listening to Uncle recite the incantation over the phone, Jackie activates the magic and rips the mask off Hackfu. The mask joins the stash at section 13 and all the stolen shadows return to their owners. The final mask, belonging to General Laka, is pulled from the depths of the ocean by Jackie and Jade. The heroes easily grab the mask, facing zero resistance from Tadakudo, bringing the last mask back to section 13, gathering all 9 masks in one room. The heroes unintentionally trigger the ultimate curse, summoning all 9 Oni generals back into the world, which is exactly what Tadakudo was waiting for. Aka's mask allows the summoning of the Mantis Khan. The generals are freed and unleash an army of Shadowkhans on the planet, plunging it into pitch darkness. The J team splits up across different locations to battle the generals, but Tadakudo steps in, overpowers them, and throws them into a prison. Just for fun, Jade throws down the now useless Hanafuda cards, only to discover a shocking twist. There is a 10th mask that was never used for its original purpose, and it's stored exactly where Tadakudo hid it centuries ago. Deep in the Shadow Realm, Uncle stamps Tadakudo's symbol onto Toru, granting him the power to summon Shadowkhan ninjas who escort him into their dimension. Navigating a creepy void, Toru finds Tadakudo's mask and climbs back out. However, the Shadow Mask starts corrupting Toru's soul, turning the big guy blue and making him a serious threat. Tadakudo himself shows up and the final battle begins. To force the mask onto Tadakudo and seal his spirit inside it, Uncle first needs to turn Tadakudo's floating head into a physical body and then lock that body into the mask using a final removal ingredient, the hair of a Japanese samurai. Jade yanks a few hairs off Toru's head, Uncle completes the potion, and Jade successfully slaps the mask onto Tadakudo. The magical vacuum sucks in Tadakudo along with all 9 of his generals. The world is saved once again, and everyone is happy. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, leave a like, and share this video with your friends, and I'll see you all next time.